Today on the Marner podcast show for the fourth time, I've got Ryan Standish. Every time he comes on, he's got a new job title, even though we don't believe in titles. General Manager of Image Group.
Ancestrian now as well.
What?
Oh, we're bringing two more businesses together now, mate.
How's this happened? How have you become the general manager? Do they actually know you at all? Have they even watched these podcasts?
They've not found me out yet.
Mate, buzzing.
Yeah, so...
Buzzing?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely buzzing. 100%.
Imposter syndrome kicked in at any point where you're thinking...
Every fucking day.
Does it?
Do you know what? It's funny you've just said that, because a really good friend of mine asked me exactly the same question only 2 weeks ago. So my new job hadn't been announced at work. Obviously I knew that it was coming, but I'd been asked just to keep it under the radar so it could be announced properly in the business. And I was having a coffee with my mate and his wife, and I was telling him about what had been going on and stuff. And Carrie kind of sat back and went, "Do you never get imposter syndrome, you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, every single day without fail. Without fail. Constantly. Whether it's at Image, Cestrian, Service Graphics, whether it's at Love, coming on this podcast, I think, why does he fucking want me on here?" It's every single day.
How'd you do with that? What kind of words do you have on yourself to kind of...
Do you know what? There's a couple of things for me. I used to be petrified of looking stupid.
Yeah.
And I think if you can figure out ways to shake that off, the imposter syndrome comes down. So the best way for me to get over imposter syndrome is ask questions and not be scared of looking stupid. Because the reality is, like my role now, so responsible for the two businesses on the one site. Now, I'm working with some people in that business that have been in the print and display industry longer than I've been fucking working.
Yeah.
So they've forgotten more than I will probably ever know about production or process or materials or kit or whatever. But what I'll never do is pretend that I'm on the same level as them, because then you end up backing yourself into a corner, or you create a persona that further down the line will get found out, and then you will look fucking stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I don't know what something is, I'll ask a question. I had it with one of our senior account managers. He's been there forever, and I kept hearing this term being bandied around in the business. He looks after Cestrian, the Cestrian side of the business. He looks after the biggest client that Cestrian have got. And he kept talking about this HD plus this and HD plus that, and we need to do this, and we've got 10,000 of them. So I was sat having a one-to-one with him just last week. So I said to him, "I've got a question for you. What the fuck is a HD plus?" And he did exactly what you did. Yeah. And I was like, I keep hearing people talk about it, but I don't know what it is. And he told me what it is. And I was like, all right, okay, cool.
What is it?
It's like it's a big, God, fucking hell, what's the name of them now? You know, like you see the big advertisement boards?
Yeah.
It's them.
Right.
Yeah, them.
Mad that, innit?
Yeah.
I'd just be like, yeah.
So I've literally seen, I must have walked past millions of them in my lifetime, see them every day in my life. But it's just that bit of terminology I wasn't familiar with. But this is something that will, leave his lips 500 times a day.
General manager. What is that? What does that mean? General manager.
Well, I guess it's...
What did they say to you? Standish, listen.
Do you know
what?
Good
job, mate.
It's a funny one. Look, I don't want to go too much into the whole backstory of the previous owners and all that stuff, because the message out to my new team is we need to forget all of that and start to look forward now, clean slate, fresh start, all that. So we started, we joined, Image Group joined a wider organisation just before Christmas, after us all being made redundant from the previous group. So fighting tooth and nail to try and keep some kind of chunks of the business together, some of the people together, to make sure we were continuing to look after our clients and deliver what we'd promised to deliver, etc. All that good stuff kind of on the run up to Christmas. So we managed to do that in various different forms, relocated to a new site, joined a wider business, and like I say, started fresh. So a handful of people came to work with me on the run up to Christmas, with a second handful after Christmas. And then we've managed to bring a couple of other key people as well from the previous group into different roles within the organisation. So we've got about 15 or 16 in total that, you know, over the last sort of 2 and a bit months have come over into various different positions.
You're still sales director at that point?
I'm still sales director at this point, yeah. So came back after Christmas. I was actually leaving to head up to Love on a Wednesday night, and a couple of the senior guys asked me to just bob into the boardroom before I left. So I was thinking they were going to ask me about, you know, what's happening with that client or this.
You at that point? Are you thinking? I don't know if we've had a conversation, but are you thinking you might get looked over a little bit at that point?
There was a little bit of me thought.
You kind of
they're going to go, well, we've already got 2 sales directors there. We've got an MD there. Sorry, mate. Thanks for bringing X, Y, and Z. Thanks for all your hard work, but
see you later.
Don't need you. Yeah, I definitely thought that. Yeah. So I was asked to just quite casually bob into just literally like this in a little boardroom at the back of the office. And one of them said to me, "Look, I think we need to have like a single point of contact on this site that's responsible for everybody and everything. So everybody's got somebody they can go to, somebody they can kind of ask and, you know, whatever. Would you be interested in doing it?" And I was like, fucking right, I'd be interested in doing it. That was that would be the next natural step for me from sales director in terms of, you know, growth in my career. So I said, yeah, absolutely, yeah, I'd love that. So we spent a bit of time talking to various different people in the business.
Did he tell you why they chose you to do that?
Well, you know, a little bit. It was a very, I think historically it's been a very operationally focused business, which it's very easy to get lost in the mire of production and equipment and kit and all that stuff. And I think to have a successful business, you kind of need that to be solid. And we've got some amazing people, some brilliantly talented people to do that. But then you need to trade that off with, you know, some giddiness, some sales, some excitement, culture. Some urgency, some culture. Yeah. So I think they kind of, well, I'd like to think they've maybe seen how we operate as a team and as a business, and kind of gone, right, well, let's give them a punt at it.
And now, did they see the value in culture?
100%. So, look, again, I don't want to, you know, talk too much shit, but if you look at that business, there's a team of people in there that over the last 18 months have just been fucking kicked to death. Been sold twice, people have left, people have gone, suppliers have lost relationships with suppliers, you know, some clients have got, you know, fed up with things being late or not quite right or whatever. So over that 18-month period, you know, people have got tired. You know what I mean?
Kind of resenting.
And
it's tough, isn't it, when that resentment kicks in, like you're working your ass off and you're expecting people to recognise and you deserve, you know, a pat on the back. Like.
Mate, there's a name for it. It's called compassion fatigue.
Never heard of it. God, fuck, here we go again. Let's talk. Talk to me, Standish.
So it's called compassion fatigue. It's exactly what it is. You get tired of being compassionate. So a lot of the time it can be, it's like a form of stress. So if every time me and you have a conversation, you just offload all your shit on me and woe is me, this ain't fair, fuck all that. Over a period of time, I'm like, okay, now. And the first couple of times we have a conversation, it might be, do you want comfort or solutions, like we said last time? But if that carries on and on and on and on and on, you get to a point where you're like, you'll ring me and I'll be like, fucking hell. And it's because you're tired. I'm tired of being compassionate, and it's starting to affect me negatively. So that compassion fatigue, you can apply it to, for me, you can apply it to anything. So if you're working in a business, like you say, it can be any business. You believe through and through, you're working your bollocks off, trying your best, trying to do a great job every day and come in, energized and positive and wanting to do well. But all you get is kicked or let down or looked over or that compassion wears thin, and you get to the point where, like, what's the fucking point?
What's the point?
And then I think that's where it starts tiptoeing into this quiet quitting. Have you heard that term recently?
No.
So I've seen quite a bit of it at the minute. So mainly, yeah, I'd say probably since COVID. So this quiet quitting is where people don't actually quit and leave the job because they're nervous about the market, or
so they've mentally checked out, but they're not telling.
They've mentally checked out, so they come in and they do the bare minimum. 8:59 as I call them. So you're in at 8:59 and you back out the door.
They're basically turning up, not showing up.
Correct.
Right.
And it all feeds into that. But this compassion fatigue, I think, is quite important because it can affect, like you asked me about imposter syndrome. I think it can tiptoe into that.
Yeah.
If you're, fed up doing what you're doing and sick of feeling like you're not getting anywhere, nothing's happening, and you kind of sat there like, should I be here? Am I the right person for this job? You start to, and it breeds this whole, like...
Yeah. And then it only takes outside influence to go, look, Standish, fucking, I think they're looking over you, pal. People like fucking giving you that side of you, and then you start questioning yourself more.
Why has he got that job and
why
you've not? Why is that? Why are we not producing that job here now? Why?
Yeah, I think they think that
Correct.
You're not good enough.
Correct. Why are we not producing that job here anymore? Why is that being produced up there?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, again, all feeding into these negative emotions, negative feelings, negative energy, then leads into your negative self-talk. I'm shit at what I do. Shouldn't be doing that. I'm shit at what I do.
Yeah.
Then does that feed into you waking up in the morning feeling shit so you don't go to the gym? So you feel shitter.
Yeah. What's the point of getting up?
You don't go to the gym. So, well, not been in the gym, might just get a takeaway, feel shitter. And before you know it, you're in this mad, vicious circle of...
Yeah.
I don't like my job, I don't like my life, I don't like myself, but fuck me. And this is what I'll be focusing on with our people.
Next level, aren't you? Aren't you next level? Aren't you? I'm not doing 4 times for a laugh, Standish.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Even that, you can't even fucking take the compliment, can you? You can't even take the fucking compliment. Fucking hell.
It's interesting though, mate, because...
It's all right to take it on board, though, isn't it? It's all right to take a compliment on board.
Yeah, of course it
is. You are amazing.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
I appreciate that.
Just say yes, you cunt.
No,
it's beautiful, mate. Honestly, the way you think is fucking amazing.
Those
people who you're going to be general managing, right, are going to be very, very lucky to have you as their leader, mate.
That's a really nice thing for you to say.
I think it's very important. It trickles down from the top, and whatever that is, it can be positive. It can you can re-energise people just with your words, can't you?
Mm. But it's brilliant and terrible at the same time. Mm. So when I'm looking at our business now, we have got some unbelievable people working there.
Yeah,
mega skill set, mega experience. Do you know what I mean? Know what they're doing, could do the job fucking standing on their head, eyes shut.
But if they don't feel valued...
But if they don't feel like they're part of something bigger, or they don't see there's a bit of a plan, or see that people actually give a fuck about them, we're just going to be heads down.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn up. I'm just going to do the bare minimum.
Yeah. So it's interesting because for anybody that's had a new leader come into a business that they don't know, maybe they've come from a different industry, maybe they've not.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going into a business that's been, I don't want to say distressed, it's a bit extreme that, but where the culture's been below where it should, and you drop this person in, and you're always going to get, who's this dickhead? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think it almost puts me in a bit of a unique position with our guys now, because we've gone through the same thing.
Yeah. You've gone through that shared experience, that turbulent time together.
Well, listen, we talked about serendipitous happenstance last time.
Yeah.
Sestrian was part of the previous group that I got made redundant from in December.
That's mad, isn't it?
So we brought the two businesses back together again, that operate completely different ways, look after completely different clients, producing very much the same products but in different volumes. So it's a real nice blend of everything coming together. So the bones are there for a fucking unbelievable business. We've just got a little bit of work to do to get everybody back on board, because they've been fucking kicked to death. And that's what my aim is, to get everybody back on board.
And do you do that from a sort of like brand standpoint and a business standpoint, where you get everybody together and look, this is our vision moving forward?
So this is what we are going to be doing. Bearing in mind, I've been in this position for a week and 2 days. So and I said right at the very start to our group sales director, group MD, my first port of call is the people. Because the business doesn't function without them in it. So that's where I've got to start.
What do you do? How do you start something like that?
So I reached out to everybody at the start and said, look, I'm going to be booking 30 minutes in with you all individually.
How many people are there?
40 something.
So 40 people, 40 different personality types, understanding who they are and how they need communicating.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing that we did the other day, the colour intuitive testing?
I did
really
see it.
Interesting.
I've done something similar before. Yeah. This disc profiling I did, which sounds like it's very similar.
Yeah, really good.
But no, this is more because, I can't be this general manager that looks at a spreadsheet of names and job titles. I want to know who I'm working with. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to know what your fucking favourite colour is. I want to know what you put on Spotify when your fucking world's falling apart. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean by that?
I don't want the...
Why did you choose Spotify then? What music?
Yeah, what music do you listen to when your fucking world's falling apart? I don't want the superficial. I want to understand what makes you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be on site at 5 o'clock. I want to know what gets you up in the morning. Why'd you come here? What do you do it for? What do you do at the weekend? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not asked about the superficial stuff. You hear all these, it's a family business. Bollocks. It's not a family. There is no such thing as a family business. Anybody says it's a family business, what that means is we're going to have really high expectations of you and you can't fucking say a word about it. You just got to get on with it because we're a family. It's bullshit. Businesses should be like a sports team where everybody's got their individual responsibility and you've got somebody that is holding people accountable. We're holding each other accountable. But we're a sports team. We win together, lose together. It's not a fucking family business. Bullshit.
Yeah, the team thing's really good, wasn't it? There's a captain on there. There's people that play at the back. There's people up front. You play for the strength and the weaknesses. But we all play together as a team.
Well, we said last time, it's like, going back to tribal times. If every person was a hunter, you'd have loads of food, but you'd have nowhere to fucking cook it or sleep. You need a builder, you need a hunter, you need a cook, you need... Do you know what I mean? Oh, you've heard the saying before, too many chiefs or too many chefs or fucking whatever. Yeah. So how can I be in a position as general manager to make decisions about our business if I don't know our people. You can't, can you? Not. Honestly, you can't. So that's why I want time with everybody. So I've committed to. We did our first one on Friday, actually, pulling the shutters down meeting, I call it. So Friday afternoon, it's optional. So I invite the whole business to come into the boardroom, and we just do a little bit of a download of what's happening, what's going on, where we're making progress, what challenges have we got, etc. Come and have a beer, soft drink, chuck some pizza in every now and again, whatever.
How often do you do something like that?
I'm going to do it every week, every Friday.
Why every week?
Because we've got so much going on at the minute. Yeah. There's a lot to update on. And it's just a chance for everybody. I want them to feel part of it because, you see it a lot in business. You see all these little side room meetings happening and people coming on site that you don't recognise, and then they're in with this person for half a day and then they disappear again, and it just creates this. Yeah. Oh God, are we getting fucking sold again? Yeah. Oh, is this that? Oh, what's that? Whereas I do not operate like that. I probably, if you ask some of my previous bosses, they'll probably say I overshare, but I don't think you can overshare. I think there's some things you have to, be mindful of, and some things you have to, if you've got shareholders, etc. You've got to be careful with that stuff. Yeah. But anything that, directly affects the performance of the business and therefore the people in it, I believe. We started doing it once a month now. Only recently, to be honest, because I feel that we've had a lot of changes and stuff that we sit down and last Friday of every month we go, right, okay, this is what our target's been for the month. This is what we got on. Everybody goes through where the favourite piece of work was, that favourite client was, and what we're grateful for in that month and stuff like that. So everybody kind of knows, because obviously me and Gaz are doing meetings, someone else is doing it, but Sean and Charlotte are down in there. They're not, you know what I mean? I want everybody to understand what's kind of going on. So let me ask you a question then. You get to that Friday and you say, right, everybody, you do all the good stuff, favourite project this, ultimately that has to result in a level of performance to make the business successful, doesn't it? Yeah. So how do you handle it if the business hasn't performed where it needs to?
It's interesting you say this because we've just had it. Lee and I were a bit opposing with it because Lee said, well, if they don't know, if we think they've not done well, which we, for the past 5 months is like we've not really hit target, he said, well, people might leave. But I don't agree with that. I feel that we go through these times together, and isn't it exciting when we've succeeded our target? So last time we put it up, it's like we're not hit target. And I'm like, let's fucking do this together. Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you plan that out?
We just do like a document, and we kind of go through everything from consultations to branding work to websites and stuff like that.
And what do you do? Do you look at where the gap was and...
Yeah, we've looked at our communication levels with our clients, to be honest, and we all kind of go, where do you think it's followed down? Because when I do consultations, people usually get a quote, and then it's Betty following up where really it should be me, and everyone was like, why aren't we doing that? It's like, that's how you communicate as a team. So from doing that conversation, Sean will say something that I've never even thought about. Yeah. And that's what it was, and we're all we're on this fucking together, man, aren't we? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And exactly what you're saying.
It's not about pointing fingers, do you know what I mean? It's about, looking at where the gap is, what can we do differently? Yeah. Is it something we can influence individually or as a separate team? Is it something we need to look at as a business? It might be, I'll give you an example where in the middle of building a new website for Image Group. Yeah. Now, our web leads have dropped off a cliff. Yeah. So when we're looking at numbers, I mean, thankfully the team is continuing to deliver where they should be, but then at some point that lack of web leads is going to catch us up. So we'll put plans in place to make sure that's ready by this time, so it influences the number when it needs. Do you see what I mean?
It's kind of the same thing that we do, mate. To be honest. Would I say that we've strategically done it? No, has it just happened by fucking happenstance?
But it's understanding, isn't it? Missing a target shouldn't be a fucking surprise on the last day of the month. Because if we're monitoring that throughout the month, if our, I don't know, basics, if our straight line projection is 50% to what our target should be, then what are we doing now to try and make that deficit smaller?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just,
but everybody needs to be involved.
It's been such a little shift, mate, right? From me just sending a video on Instagram to them, that the shift just happened.
Yeah.
But we've made that decision as a team, and it's
brilliant.
it's just kind of like that, like changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I said to the guys on Friday, this pulling the shutters down, it's not it's not a compulsory thing. I'm not going to demand that everybody comes. If you take value from the session and you want to understand what's going on, if the guys in the office want to understand what's going on in production and vice versa, or
why did you make it a voluntary thing and not like, come on, let's all get together? What was your thought on?
Because I want them to make that decision for themselves. It's, if you're interested in what we're doing as a business, come and find out. If you're not, that's fine too.
It's hard. I just think, I don't know. Again, I'd be kind of not forcing people to say, look, everybody needs to get in this. Just for them couple of weeks, because I don't know if people have still got that resentment and a little bit of the compassion fatigue that they go, I'm not fucking turning up to this again.
Yeah, but that's then down to me to make sure I'm giving value in that meeting.
Yeah.
Now I'm confident that I will deliver some value in that meeting and that people will continue to come every week. And
then they'll tell someone else, you need to come to this fucking meeting.
It's that ambient effect we spoke about last time. Whereas if I just walked in and sat and said, right, our target is X, we've done X, Y.
Yeah.
That's not what it's for.
You know what? That is such a small part of what we do. I'm glad you said that, because it's like we do that bit and then just fucking skip on. And then the triangle's the best website that she's done, who's the best client. You know what I mean? It's that kind of bit.
But the question should be, Charlotte, if I love that you're so passionate about that project.
Yeah.
How do you think we get more of them? And ask Charlotte.
Yeah.
Oh well, I could speak to them and see if I could get a referral. I could, if that website was done for a particular industry, are there other businesses in that industry that have got a shit website that we can reach out to and say, look, just wanted to give you a heads up, we've just done this for such a body. Should we be having a conversation with you? Because what that does is it gives Charlotte a pile of projects that she's deeply passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
instead of just working on things just come in.
Yeah. I think what it does, it just helps, like what you said before about people to show up, not just turn up. I don't want people just to turn up. I mean, there's going to be days you need to turn up because your head's in bin or, like things happen, but like in the majority of the time, I like people to show up and kind of go, I fucking love this, what I'm working on.
Yeah. And we'll do some of that in ours on a Friday. But, for now, we've got, we're changing systems, we're building websites, we've changed some of the structure of who's responsible for what. We've got some new people in production. We've built a joinery department in the back of the factory. We've built a welding department in the back of the factory. So everybody's seeing all this movement and hearing all the noise, and I want people to know what the banging is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. How are you going to... There's a lot of responsibility in this, mate.
It's a hell of a lot, yeah. I
mean, I can see the shift in you. Like, you've always talked like this anyway, but now it's your job to do it. There's kind of that fucking Andy press, because you're like, at the moment you were doing it from behind the thing, now it's your kind of job.
Yeah.
And you've got to kind of own that now, haven't you?
Yeah.
I can sort of like feel it.
I'm ultimately responsible for the performance of the two businesses together.
Yeah.
Which is,
How do you how are you gonna sort of like manage what how many hours is something like that do you have to sort of...
Well, that's ultimately it's down to me to manage my time effectively. So it could very easily become a job that is...
It could consume you.
Yeah, very, very easily. Very easily, but I think...
But you not manage that though, don't you?
I think so, yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's been a couple of nights already where I've kind of got home at night and I'm like, fucking hell, that was a bit of a mega day. Yeah. Not negatively, just like... Pfft. But I think that's why it's so important to get this culture bit right at the start, get the right systems in, get the right people in the right seats, You know, so it is going to be hectic and chaotic, I'd say, for probably till the end of the financial year. But, you know, the work we do now is what will set us up right, you know, for the future.
What's the biggest thing that you've learnt from this? What's the thing that you've been sort of like toying with the most in your head?
Do you remember we spoke about the change curve a while ago?
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that a lot this last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because
just explain the change curve for anybody who's not heard it before.
So it is exactly what it says. It's a curve that almost enables you to understand where people are as we go through a change, whether it is in business, in a relationship. You know, it could be changing a system in here where, you know, the top is denial.
Yeah.
It's not going to fucking work. I'm not interested. Not having it. You know, through to acceptance.
Yeah.
The other side, right, let's get on with it. So there's some stages along that change curve that will be, you know, exploration. Right, well, all right, well, let's see if it works then. Well, I'll see, but I'm not committing kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There might be
to it, yeah.
There might be a brick wall where you try it for the first time and it fails, and then you might be thinking, well, I fucking told you it was bullshit. Whereas actually, we need to try, figure out the changes we need to make, try again, etc., etc. And it's just about kind of looking at where people are on this
that spectrum.
On this,
like you said, like drop a new leader in. Some people are going to be like, yeah, fucking buzzing, or then there's other people really resistant to it.
Now, the really important thing with it is, it's not up to me to go, right, well, Tim is in denial, so I'm going to hammer him until he gets to acceptance. That's not what it's for. It's a tool to enable both of us to understand where we are and provide an environment that you could potentially move along that curve. Because you might, you know, if we're working together, you might be fucking line in the sand.
Yeah.
No, not happening, not doing it, I'm leaving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're right, you know, I've had a couple of conversations where, you know, one or two have come to me after I've reached out to everybody and said, fucking hell, like, we've not had a one-to-one for 10 years. Like, it's great that you're coming in and you're going to listen to us, and, you know, it's nice. But now I've got to make sure that after them conversations that
actions are in place.
Well, this is the action versus motion again, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
he's not just fucking talking.
Well, the motion is great. I'm booking one-to-ones. I'm sitting down with people. I'm understanding personalities. That's great. But if nothing comes out the back of it, they're going to go, he's just another dickhead. So I've got to make sure that I'm pulling all this information together, these thoughts together, and doing something with it, which I've, you know, committed to the business that I will do. So yeah, what we were talking about before the change curve.
I was asking what your sort of biggest thing was that you've had to.
So, one of the ways that we've always, when I say we, I mean Image Group. This is pre kind of joining the businesses, joining the businesses together. One of the biggest and most successful things we do is we say yes and figure it out later. So if a customer comes to us and says, I want a life-size cardboard tractor for an exhibition, we've got a fucking brilliant idea. Leave it with us and we'll figure it out.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
That's a good thing. Well, to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Look, there are extreme versions of it. If somebody came in here and said, Tim, I want you to build me Facebook and I've got a budget of £100, you're not going to fucking say yes to that. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But if somebody comes in with a brilliant idea, then we will 100% explore the art of the possible. So, yes, we'll come back to you. Now, we might try and figure it out and go, yeah, we can do it, but it's going to cost you, you know, £1 million. It wouldn't, but we'll always say yes and then try and figure it out. What I found this last couple of weeks is that almost, and it's probably the compassion fatigue kicking in. That's been the biggest learning curve for me, is understanding where people's yeses are, because there's been a couple of things coming. It's been like, ooh, that looks a bit scary. Ooh, I'm not sure about that. Ooh, that's a bit big. And it's like, well,
right.
We need to get this business.
So the people kind of in the sales, like you're saying, yeah, we can kind of do that, but the people underneath them, like, you've not talked to us about this.
No, it's not so much that. This is enquiries coming in. Oh God, that looks a bit
right.
Which we're changing it already. Like within a week, we're changing it, because we need to, like I said to you before, we need to forget everything that's gone on in the past and focus on moving forward and what we're going to be doing in the future. And saying yes to things and figuring it out is the right way to do that. Obviously, it brings revenue into the business. It encourages different departments to work together. And, you know, even from, I suppose it might be a bit fluffy, but even some of the guys in production, if they're seeing these exciting projects come through the factory, it's like, fucking hell, I've been studying, you know, printing this and printing that for however long, and now we're getting to do this, and we're building this and wrapping this, and you know what I mean? So it starts to create that bit of a buzz of, we've got some fucking sexy stuff coming through here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it, but it's understanding, number one, why we feel like that. Number two, how do we get over it? Number three, let's get on with it.
Let's go on with it. How do you change that in someone then that's so resistant to that, who's on the back end of that change curve?
Do you know what, mate? A lot. It's not resistance. It's almost like a learned behaviour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not our bag, that.
Yeah.
Yes, it fucking is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, it's a mixture of compassion fatigue, engagement, you know, urgency.
Comfort
urgency.
zone. I'm right, don't want to get out of this.
Correct, yeah.
Because I failed before. I know what that feels like when I fail.
Correct. So this is where I think my role becomes really important, because I need to be able to show my team what our new art of the possible is.
The new art of the possible.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, I said to a couple of them just last Friday, I'm not prepared to be a business that treads water or washes its face, is one of the other sayings you hear a lot.
Washes its face?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So a business that just about washes its face is a business that just about breaks even.
Right, okay.
I don't want that. I want fucking bold and big, and I want an environment where people are fucking buzzing to come to work, you know what I mean? It's not always going to be like that, but you know, if you imagine like a neutral level of engagement, if you're down here in terms of engagement, you've got a hell of a long way to go to be on the plus side of engagement. Do you see what I mean? So it's harder. Whereas if everybody's engaged, it's a bit easier to get to that plus side of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to this negative self-talk stuff. I had a conversation with my daughter, so 15, year 10 at high school. She tells herself all the time, I hate school, don't like it. And she does. She's super intelligent, really creative, really articulate, lovely person to be around. But because she continually tells herself she hates school, she's pissed off before she's even got there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Selling her body hates school, like, because she's been programming herself to hate school.
Correct. And whether on that change curve, if you're in denial, I fucking hate school, or I hate my job, or I hate my wife, I hate my husband.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to explore that and understand why, you know, look, it might be that even after some exploration, you still fucking hate your husband. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, then we're on another change curve.
Then we're on another one. But if you constantly tell yourself something, you will just believe it. You can talk yourself into anything.
Yeah.
Literally talk yourself into anything.
Yeah, the stories we make up in our minds
Absolutely.
become true.
How many times have we said it before? You tell a kid he's stupid every day, he's going to grow up thinking he's stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You tell your partner they're ugly every day, they are going to believe that they're ugly. How many times have you put someone on and go, fucking hell, I feel a bit fat in this, and somebody will go, what are you talking about? It looks lovely. But you've convinced yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what we've got to snap out of. Not just, look, coming off piece. Well, we're not coming off piece. We're fully on piece.
Yeah.
But we've got some of that at work. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's rife, innit? It's like a disease.
We had it Saturday morning at Love.
Yeah. Talk to me about that, mate. That was beautiful, that. Didn't it?
I don't know if I should.
I do. I just think it's very powerful. I think, for me, it shows testament, because I stood back and I saw this beautiful girl come up to you and say something to you, and I could see that she plucked up the courage to come and talk to you to let you know something. I was like...
So we have a WhatsApp group that's got all of the members in from Love. And there's all sorts of good stuff goes on in there. You know, people put stuff in about what's coming up in classes. They share recipes. Like one of the ladies, Jane, got bit by a dog the other day, and she's put this. I'm going to have to cancel the class because I've cut my hand and blah blah. So there's loads of stuff goes on in there. So it's really supportive, really engaging. You know, some people pluck up the courage to say, you know, I'm feeling a bit shit at the minute, and everybody will jump on them. I'll meet you for a coffee. We'll go to the gym together. So it's a brilliant group.
Beautiful.
Every now and again, one or two, there'll be some negative shit talk. You know, feeling a bit fat, feeling a bit unfit. You know, whatever. Yeah. Now, if I'm honest, a lot of the time when people poke fun at themselves, it's almost like they're doing it because in their head they think, if I say it before somebody else says it, then it won't hurt me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So if I get it in first, even if somebody says it, then I've already said it. It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
But that negative self-talk, you keep fucking saying it to yourself, and you will convince yourself that, you know, I've got big ears, I've got a big nose, I've got a fucking big chin, I've got a fat belly, I've got, you know, whatever. You keep saying it, and you're not shaking it off. Do you know what I mean? So this one in particular person put something in that was, you know, I won't say what it is, but it was basically like, you know, slagging themselves off. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'll just put a little comment
themselves down.
Yeah. I'll just put a little comment underneath. P.S. Don't ever fucking talk shit about yourself in front of me, is what I said on the message. That was it. So she came to the class, worked her fucking ass off the whole class.
Hasn't it?
And then came back in at the end. She was like, thanks for not killing me. I'll give her a big hug, and I was like, you smashed it. Just stop fucking talking shit about yourself. And don't do it in front of me. And she was like, thanks. I'll see you next week.
Beautiful, isn't it?
But this is what everyone does. Yeah. Look, I do it. Like, ages ago, it's funny this, right? I got absolutely done. I was out with the lads, having a few beers, and all, you know, like you do, everyone's taking the piss out of each other. One of them says to me, could be worse, I could look like Richard from Guess Who. Done me in front of the whole table. Which
dusted.
I thought it was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
Now I'll do that. So every now and again, like when I reached out to everybody at work, I said, for anybody that doesn't know who I am, I'm the gobshite that looks like Richard from Guess Who. So I'll just get it in, you know, just because I think it's funny. Yeah. And that's the same, you know, subconsciously.
It's hard though, mate, because it's like, how do you decipher, look, you're confident in your own skin, you can do that, to somebody doing it as a defence mechanism?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
People have introduced themselves to me before and gone, look, just before we start talking, I've got whatever.
Yeah.
Like, right, what's that fucking matter? Do you know what I mean? But it's obviously on their mind, and they're getting it in because they want to get it in first.
Yeah.
And you just don't need to do that around me. Or
anybody.
No. I don't even know how we got onto that.
I don't know. I just think it's the negative self-talk, mate. You know, it's like, you know, like you're saying, to get on the change curve and stuff, you're telling stories in your head. You're like, you're giving this, fuck knows how many times. Like, I mean, my side, your side, and the truth sits in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a bit more of this story to this new job. Definitely oversharing this, but I think it's quite important. So I had the initial conversation about the role, said yes, I want to do it.
Yeah.
Had another couple of chats after that, and, you know, I took it as it's happening. But there were some other things because there was a couple of other people moving around, so it was kind of the three of us that were kind of being promoted. All of those promotions had to happen for it all to work. Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it took a little bit longer from me saying yes to the announcement. So I work with a brilliant guy now, a guy called Steve Morgan. He's our new ops director. So Steve looks after a number of sites in the UK. He's like, operations and production support and massive job. Brilliant lad he is. He's a scouser, but we'll let him off. So Steve's ringing me. He's going, hey, is it sorted yet? I'm like, no, not heard anything. Fuck it out. You know, he's got a couple of days later, right, you sorted now? No, I've not heard anything yet. So this went on for a little bit. So talking about creating your own narrative, then I started panicking. I was thinking, fuck it now. Here we go. So rang the group sales director. I was like, what's going on here? Like, is it happening? Is it not? Yeah, it's happening. I'll talk to you end of the week or whatever it was. Right, okay. So I'm like,
here we go again.
Deep breath. Yeah. It's all good. It's happening. Because at this point, nobody knew either. Yeah. So I'm observing all these things in the business that I'm thinking, well, that needs to be a focus, and I want to change that, and I want to I want to talk to this person.
But you're just living in limbo.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Completely in limbo. It's nobody's fault. There was a lot of moving parts to it happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then this one Friday, a couple of weeks ago on the Friday, just had a random meeting drop in my diary for Monday. New structure catch up or whatever, whatever it was called. I was like,
what are you thinking?
Oh, fuck me. But because I'd created this what
story you created in your mind?
So I'd created this story in my head that it's all gone quiet.
Yeah.
So what my bosses had done is kind of gone.
That guy from Guess Who, he's gone.
We'll just fuck him off and we'll get. He can do it or she can do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm sat there thinking, I'm going to get the bullet here. And I'm obviously brand new into this business, so there were, So I'm sat there thinking, I'm done here. I'd literally convinced myself that I was going to get potted on the Monday, but then I was thinking...
Are you telling Linz this? Are you telling her what's
going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's she saying to you?
She was like, you're being ridiculous, yeah. But this is what happens when, in any situation, if you perceive the communication to not be where it should be, you just create your own narrative, and it is never fucking positive, ever. So I gets this meeting invite on the Friday, and I was like, oh, fuck me. But then I'm thinking, well, surely if they were going to pop me, they'd just pop me today.
Just like,
wouldn't let me have the weekend and then pop me.
Let's have another conversation. No. What do you think of this, Standish? Well, Standish, I think you suck ass.
Yeah. So I thought I can't go into the weekend overthinking it. So I just rang my boss and I was like, look, this is where my head's going with it. And he laughed. He literally laughed at me on the phone. So I was, when he laughed, I was so fucking relieved.
Like, yeah.
Because he literally laughed and went, you're going fucking nowhere, mate, is what he said to me. And I was like, oh, okay, thank God for that. And then we had the conversation on Monday. We got announced on Thursday.
Powerful, mate, that, isn't it? Having conversations.
But
this,
this is exactly why I want to sit down with every member of staff. This is exactly why I want to get as many people together as possible on Friday, because that lack of communication from me to my team could result in them thinking,
oh, wait a minute,
are we getting shut down? Are we
we
this?
start looking for something else. I'm just going to turn up. I'm not going to show up here because it's like...
Yeah, so I sat down with, like I say, I won't name any names, but I sat down with probably our most senior account manager, looks after the biggest account we've got with Sestrian. And I sat down with him on Friday and he said, look, I'll be honest with you, he said, I'm nervous that the image group coming in here is just going to push Sestrian out. That's what he said to me, like this, across the table. And it couldn't be further from the truth. But because that conversation hadn't happened till that point, that's the narrative that was created. Yeah. So I sat with him on Friday and said, look, Sestrian as a standalone business on this site doesn't work. Image Group as a standalone business on this site doesn't work. Them two fucking businesses together, now that is a special fucking business that will work. You know what I mean?
What was he like at the end of it? Was he buzzing?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say buzzing, but I would say he probably felt a little bit more informed, which not everybody needs energising. They just need informing, so they know where they stand. There's nothing worse than not knowing where you stand. You know what I mean?
You've been there though, haven't you?
Oh, a million times. A million times. When we were going through this whole process at the last place, like I got to the point where I would rather somebody just came to me and said, you ain't got a job, go home.
Yeah, at least you know.
But because at least I would have known what was going on.
Get on with shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, again, you know, like we said, we are, as adults, we're the version of the adult we needed when we were younger. I think that doesn't just apply to when you're a kid, because you'll always be the adult you needed at that point. Do you know what I mean?
And as a leader, you are that person for them as well, aren't you? Because obviously they got their own shit going on. Their little fucking version of themselves is coming up, I'm not good enough and stuff like that, and you just having a conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, he might have walked out of that meeting on Friday and thought, right, well, I'm happy I've got a job. I'm happy I've had some questions answered. And if that's all people need, then great. But if you want more, then let's talk about it.
Yeah. I bet he didn't leave buzzing, but I reckon he went home and started getting buzzed. I didn't think he wanted to let his emotions out. I don't know why I said that, but I feel like...
Yeah. Well, it's like I had another guy come to me after I'd reached out to everybody. And he said to me, I'm really happy you've taken over. He said, it sounds like we're gonna get somewhere this time. And you know, you wanted to talk to people and sit down with people, like it's great that. And then straight away he's like, well, I'm not fucking blowing smoke up your ass. But I didn't think he was for a second. But just that is enough for me to go, we're doing the right things here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How often? I mean, we talked about your spidey senses before, like. Have you been able to sort of like hone them more, that you can read people's energy across the meetings and stuff like that?
I think so, yeah. I think so, yeah. There's some people I can't, but I think that's on them, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you do. It's practice, isn't it? And the more you can be in a situation or an environment, the more experience you get.
I don't think everyone's got it, mate. I just think, you know, you've got a sort of like natural gift for that, haven't you? Like, I don't know if you call it claircognizance or something. You can feel people's energy and you kind of know.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's useful.
Yeah.
But it's also sometimes can be a hindrance, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you get that sort of compassionate fatigue with it because you give too much sometimes to somebody.
Yeah.
You lend an ear too much.
Yeah.
The people thing's always been a thing with me. I think it's just like what we said before. I think, you know, we both had like trauma, and I know what it means to be, you know, friend of my own, you know, in that playground, what it feels like to be, and you can just carry on that through. I feel to myself, it was something before that I've always been a people person. From ever since I was born, that I'm a people person.
Yeah, possibly. But I listened to a podcast not that long ago that was, it was saying about how, or a comedian, I might be getting too crossed over here, it might be two separate podcasts, but on one of these podcasts, one person said, this comedian said, all comedians are depressed. So the stand-up and stuff is a way of masking their depression. But then on the second one, interestingly, it was a different comedian, but the same podcaster said, is it true that all comedians are depressed? And he went, no, it's bullshit. What is true is the parents of all comedians were depressed. So they've grown up trying to entertain and cheer up and make people smile and laugh. Ooh. And found that they're good at it.
Fucking hell.
So I was like, whoa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you would ask that other comedian, I reckon that he would have then, yeah, you probably...
Yeah, you've fucking got me there.
Yeah.
So that's how they've grown up, trying to make mummy feel better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, fucking hell. Had that,
yeah,
innit?
you've got to dig deep to fucking find that answer, haven't you?
Why did you get a bit upset before? I could tell.
I think it was that lady's thing in that group, I think. It really triggered me a little bit. I don't know why. And she came up to you and I was just like... I felt like she... In that group, she's got no one around her.
She has.
But within that group, that's, you know, she kind of communicated. And I was just like, fucking hell, what powerful thing it is to just kind of put a message in. Like, I wish I would have had that. Just to say, look, I'm feeling a bit fucking shite.
Even having the balls to put it in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Balls, that in it.
Yeah.
To put that in.
Of course it is.
But to have someone like you in her life, mate, she just kind of comes up. I don't know what it was, I just stood there, watched her come up to you, and I was like, fucking hell, there's something. I could feel the energy with you both. And
Do you want
like,
to tell you something even madder? That's the first time I've ever seen her face to face.
Mad, that innit?
It's the first time she's ever been in my class. Seen her in the group and whatever.
Yeah.
She's not been in my class before. Never met her face to face before.
I just fucking, it just amazes me, that place, mate. Doesn't it? It just amazes me. And the connection you have with people amazes me. It's like, I watch you going round. I know it sounds a little bit fucking weird, like, just like, not pedo you're out, but I just kind of...
I was going to say, fucking hell, mate.
No, he's alright. The fucking guy from Guess Who's done well for himself. But you, like, when you're walking around and stuff, mate, the energy that you got and the shift that you're making people, I'm like, fucking hell. It's so powerful, so powerful. Like I said, I've not, like, got you on here for a fucking 4 times for a laugh. Like, I know what you do for people. And it's important for me to have it on to another person to watch his podcast and just change the perspective on life.
Yeah.
Powerful, isn't it?
Somebody again said to me not that long ago, you're not a normal director, you, are you? And I was a bit like, I didn't know whether to take it as a compliment or like, you know, it's just calling me fucking unprofessional here. So, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I said, no, I don't think I am. No, I said, but what makes you say that? And she said, it's refreshing just having somebody normal. But this new business that we've now become a part of, this wider group, there's loads of us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I had a conversation with our group sales director, and he's like, South African guy called Tristan. He's a fucking brilliant guy. And he said, you know what I love? He said, we've got a real nice mix of really experienced senior leaders, but then we've got a real good bunch of new upcoming senior leaders with different perspectives, bringing a different energy in. All of that coming together as part of the wider group is like... So it's mega to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But it's been a mad couple of months. Like, absolutely fucking bonkers couple of months.
Yeah.
And that'll continue for the next 1 or 2, I think, as well. But I'm here for it. What's on your mind now? We've lost you. I feel like we've lost you.
I don't know, mate. I just think the that thing with it was such a. I don't know why it was such a moment for me. You've asked me that question, why are you upset? It probably I would have gone and sort of deciphered it and asked myself some questions, but you asking me then has actually quite sort of hit me. And when she kind of came up to you, I kind of realised the type of friendship me and you've got, the person that you are. It's weird, isn't it? Every time you go to a podcast, I don't talk to you beforehand because I'm like, Standish, fucking stop talking to me because we're not going to, you know what I mean?
Your personality towards me completely changes. I'd say probably the week before, or at least if I see you a couple of days before, it's like you're a naughty schoolboy. Yes. No.
Stop fucking talking to me, man.
So when I got here this morning, Betty was like, "Oh, you're a little bit early."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I wanted to come and say hello to Will and everyone, Gav." And she disappeared off, and she came back and she went, "I've just spoke to Tim. He said he will come down, but he's not coming down yet because he don't want you to talk to him." But what was funny was I was actually having the same conversation with Will about it. I was like, he won't come down because he don't want us to talk about anything in case we step on the podcast.
Isn't it mad? Because we always talk like this, me and you, anyway, like, don't we, when we see each other? And I always, get great sort of insights into stuff that I've never even thought about. It's so powerful, mate. Honestly, I do so love talking to you. I really
love
do,
coming on, mate. It's brilliant.
Let's wrap it up.
That was a very quick hour, that.
But
We've done an hour there.
I don't know. It's just like... It's fucking really touched me, that, mate. It's really touched me. Really touched me.
So I just, honestly, mate, I think whether it's love, whether it's here, whether it's where I work, none of it functions without the people in it.
Yeah.
So if you're not looking after them, somebody else will.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure our people feel part of something. They feel they're on a bit of a journey going somewhere.
Yeah.
They can see, potential and progress, whether that's, upward mobility for themselves or personal growth or responsibility or money, whatever it is, work-wise, there's got to be a bit of something. Call it WIFM, don't they? What's in it for me?
I don't know that.
WIFM, yeah. WIFM.
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me?
Fuck.
And it's that what's in it for me isn't always a pay rise or a nicer company car. Sometimes it's more flexible hours. Sometimes it's more flexible weeks. Sometimes it's I don't know a fucking new computer for a designer, or do you know what I mean? It doesn't. It's not always about a pay rise. It's about what's my next.
Yeah, and it weird.
level,
In my head, I went really negative with that. What's in it for me? I was like, no, it can be something for them. You don't have to be negative.
But this is the problem. That your reaction there is
Yeah.
exactly why some businesses have a poor culture.
Yeah.
Because if you work for an organisation, it is not all about the business. It's got to align with your values, or you're never going to wake up buzzing to turn up. Mm-hmm. You're never going to show up, you're going to turn up, sorry.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you work in a business that recognises the value you bring to the table, puts plans in place to help you develop that value and utilise it to the best of your ability and to assist the business, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
If you just go in and it's all about the business, not about you, nobody cares, you get on with it, we only care about the bottom line, that's when your culture falls apart.
Yeah.
Because nobody's part of anything.
Yeah. It's hard just to do that, mate, because obviously I've had people in the business that have got this, what do we call it, negative with them, where it's what's in it for me is like, okay, do you know what I mean? They're just thinking about themselves and not doing it as a big part of the team, where they've done that and then shit on us, and then you kind of, that with them has now traumatised me, where I've got a negative thing with the with them, where like Sean and Charlotte need a new Mac at the minute, and I'm doing everything I can to get these new Mac for them. But I've still got this negative thing. What's in it for me? What the fucking was in it for you? I'm fucking grafting my ass off to get you fucking... And you're saying, what's in it for you?
Yeah, but, all right, so what about then, on the last Friday of February, you said to Sean and Charlotte, right, I'm going to go and buy, or let's do a deal. If you know how much them Macs are going to cost you or whatever, and you say, right, in March, you bring me 2 projects in, or we get to this number, or we get this X number of new, or whatever. Incentivize it. Because then they're not just waiting on you to buy a Mac. Everybody's part of that process then. Right, so Sean and Charlotte, what can we do? Right, well, if you do that and I do this, and we'll get that, and we'll ring them, and we'll contact them, and right, Tim, here's our plan. Execute that, as 2 Macs coming. Do you see what I mean? You can do it that way. And it pulls everybody in, you know.
Everything I do just come from fucking little Tim being traumatised and fucking not getting the fucking shit he deserved and stuff. It fucking comes up as a fucking grown man. You just like, of course it does. Constantly fucking saying just.
But you can change that narrative for yourself.
Yeah, that pattern.
Yeah. You know, what's the saying now? If you don't change it, you're choosing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to fucking choose that.
Well, then change it.
Done.
Do you see?
Yeah, it's there.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. It's instilled in my mind that now. Brilliant. Little cry, little laugh. Yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it?
I have to get number 5 book now.
Get fucking number 5 book. Standish, I fucking love you. Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what? You're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what? You're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what? You're branding with the best. Tim